Time for a test fit. There we go. Hello and welcome back to the channel. I've just started dismantling the bark and I've got it on the front paddock stand which goes under the steering stem. It's a little bit wobbly, or a little bit too wobbly for my liking, so I'm not comfortable with that. So I went and bought a single-sided paddock stand and they didn't have the right pin size for me, so they could order me a pin. A pin was about 400 odd rand. I thought, let me go buy some aluminium, seeing as I've got a lathe. Went and bought some 6082 aluminium. This piece cost me 230 bucks, and I thought, let me turn my own pin out of that. So let's go and make a new pin for the paddock stand. If I measure up the rear axle, I can work out my pin size that I need. So that's 41.85, 41.8587. So if I go 41, that gives me about just under a mil play. The 6082 solid bar that I bought was 45 mil. So 45.28. So I've got a little bit of turning down to do on that for the OD of the pin. Let me grab the original pin. There's a thread in the back to tie that in between the bearings, and then that's the size of the pin that I need to change. So I thought I'd just make a new one. Let me measure this size. It's like 24.75. Sure, there's a lot of turning down I need to do. So the dimensions, I'm going to do the exact same as obviously the outside diameter of that, the length of that, and then this sort of shoulder I'm going to keep, but I'm going to make it to the 41 that I need for my Triumph axle, rear axle. Got it a little bit better. What I'm going to have to do is put a little bit of a center drill over here so that I can hold it with a tailstock with a live center, because it's such a long piece I'm working with. There you can see I've drilled a center hole. Now we can put the live center. Running the lathe on auto feed now so that it cuts evenly. It's at a steady pace. So because the piece is wobbling a little bit, I'm taking a little bit off until I get it perfectly parallel, and then I can cut better or bigger cuts. So I'm just running it like that for now. This should be the final cut down to size, which is 41 millimeter. So cutting quite nicely, quite clean. I'll show you when it's done. That's now finished. That's the piece that's obviously going to go inside the axle. I just got to clean up this edge, give it a bit of a taper, and do a facing cut on there to clean that up. And then what I can do is either part this off to the overall length that I need, which is that piece plus that, or flip it around in the lathe, part it off, and then start working the other side. So I want to do the same thing. I want to drill a center hole and then can put the live center back in so that I can machine this side down. Now what I need to do, I need to get this measurement over here, which is going to be 105 mils. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark it at 110 mil. Not the inner mark, the outer mark, and I must part that piece off. I got my mark now for the cut, so now I can line up and part that piece off, and then I can machine this bit. My parting tool is not deep enough, so you can see it's rubbing on there, on the face here, so I'll have to cut that last little bit with the Axel. Okay, I've cut all the way through with the Axel. You can see it's quite a rough cut. I'll clean that up now on the lathe. But before I do anything, I want to clean all this very fine aluminium dust off the rails, off the bed, so that it doesn't get caught in the tool post or the slides. Okay, I'm at 25.65 mils. I need to be at like 24.95. So that's like 0.7 mil I need to drop. 0.7 mil of a cut.
Awesome. Now that piece is done. We've got a nice clean face over there. That is the final dimension. We need to go inside the bearings. So I've done a nice chamfer, or I've rounded that corner nicely. Same thing there, same thing there. Now what we can do, we can pull the tailstock back. We need to drill that hole now, one M8 thread, which will be a 6.75 drill bit. We'll use that. And then I've got a M8 spiral tap for a blind hole that will tap the thread into there. Now that the hole is drilled to 6.75 mil, I can put the spiral tap in. I'm going to start it with the chuck, and then just to get it to bite, and then I'll drive it in with the shifting spanner because I don't have a tap handle. We've tapped the hole finish, blown it out. Now I can just put one of the screws I bought. That's a stainless steel cap screw that I want to use on it. So I can test and put that in. It goes all the way. I'm still going to have a big washer in between, so that's perfect. We can take it out, turn it around, and then face that side and give it a nice taper. Let's do that now. Last step I need to do, I need to take this out again, put this in this way, now that I've got it in this way, I can face this end and give it a nice taper. And then that looks like a nice taper. That's done. I'll sort this out again now. And we are done. Let's go test fit. Now you can see it's a nice smooth face. We've got a slight tape over there, and the finish actually looks really nice. So let's go put it in, let's go give it a test fit. Time for a test fit. There we go. Ooh, like a glove. Let's test fit the other side. Oh, and also very little play there. Let's put the screw in with some thread locker, and then the bracket is done. We can try it on the bike. It's tightened up and looking good. Let's give it a try. There we go. There we go, and that gives me a lot more confidence with the front stand. That is awesome. Now, is that not a much better way to work on the bike? Rear wheel off the ground and being held stable, and then front off the ground, and because of the rear wheel holding stable, it's a lot more stable on the front end here. So much better. That actually worked out awesome. Did take me a little bit longer than I expected, but oh well, I'm very happy with that. So bike is a lot more stable now. Gives me a lot more confidence with working on the front end of the bike.
Anyway, if you enjoyed the video, as always, like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.